Hi guys, welcome back to TOEFL with Juva. I scored 30 in TOEFL writing and today I show you how you can write an independent essay for a multiple choice question that gets you a high score in TOEFL writing. By the way, if you want to get more tips for the TOEFL and download templates, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss the next video. Let's get started. Let's first have a look at the prompt. The prompt is the question you have to answer in your independent essay. The prompt says students must be graded. In your opinion, what type of assessment is the best? A. Write an exam. B. Write an essay. Or C. Give a presentation. This is a multiple choice question. The question gives you several choices and you have to choose one, and then you have to explain why you choose that one. Before you start writing your independent essay, you first have to take notes. This is really important because you should write a well-structured essay if you want a high score in TOEFL writing, and taking notes before writing your essay helps you do that because it helps you structure your ideas. Let's imagine that I think writing exams is the best method of assessment. In your independent essay, you should talk about 2 reasons why you choose a specific alternative. And you should also state 2 examples that strengthen each reason. My first reason is that if students have to write an exam, this helps them remember the topic for a longer period of time. My second reason is that exams allow students to learn how to present information effectively. Let's start with the introduction. In the introduction, you have to write 3 sentences. The first sentence is the hook. The hook is a sentence that introduces the topic of the essay and that catches the reader's attention. I'm going to write the performance of students must be assessed in some way, and there are many possibilities of doing so. Now you have to state your thesis. The thesis is your opinion. It's your direct answer to the question asked. I'm going to write, I think that exams are the best method of assessment. Remember that this is a multiple choice essay. A multiple choice essay will usually ask you which option you think is the best. So you should state that in your thesis. And that's why you should start your thesis by I think that, or I'm of the opinion that, or in my opinion. Choose whatever you like. This is different from an agree-disagree question or from a preference question. If you want to know more about how to write an essay for agree-disagree questions or for preference questions, have a look at my videos about that. You can find the links in the description below. The third sentence in your introduction is the transition. The transition leads from your introduction to the body paragraph. I'm going to write I feel this way for 2 reasons, which I will examine in this essay. This shows the reader that in the following you're going to talk about 2 reasons that support your opinion. Now we're going on with our 2 body paragraphs. You should write 1 body paragraph per reason and example. In your body paragraph, you should first state your reason. After that, you explain your reason and then you talk about your example. Let's start with the first body paragraph. I'm going to write, first of all, preparing for an exam helps students remember the topic for a longer period of time. As you can see, I started my sentence with first of all. First of all is a great linking word to indicate that you're talking about your first reason now. Try to use such linking words whenever you can, because this gives your essay structure. In the following, you have to explain your reason. It's not sufficient to simply state your reason and then go on with your example. That's a bad idea. You should absolutely explain your reason to the reader so that the reader understands what your reason is about. So in the following, I'm going to tell the reader why I think that exams help students remember the topic for a longer period of time. I'm going to write evidently. They usually do not have access to books or other study materials during an exam. Consequently, they must memorize the material, whereas those students who give a presentation or write an essay do not have to memorize anything. As you can see, I used several linking words here. First, I used evidently to indicate that something is evident. That's the same as obvious. And then I use consequently to talk about a consequence. Linking words are amazing, guys, because they boost your TOEFL writing score considerably. Now let's go on with an example. I want to talk about a personal example. I want to tell the reader that once I had to study for an exam, and this helped me remember the topic for a longer period of time. So I'm going to write, for example, at university, I once had to write an exam about a very complex topic. When I started studying, I did not remember the topics that we had covered in lectures and tutorials in detail. However, after I had studied for a while, I realized that I already had a good grasp of the topic and that I was able to remember a lot of details. In contrast, in the other courses where I had given a presentation or handed in an essay, I was not able to recall the majority of the content. Certainly, this was due to the fact that there had been no need for memorization. As you can see, I again used a lot of different linking words here, such as however, in contrast, and certainly. Now I want to do one last thing, guys. I want to squeeze in an if clause here. If clauses are amazing. They are real score boosters because if clauses show that you know more complex English grammar. I'd recommend using at least one if clause per body paragraph. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to write, in short, if I had not been required to write an exam in this class, I most certainly would not have been able to remember so many details. Let's go on with our second reason. I'm going to write second. Exams allow students to learn how to present information effectively. As you can see, I started this paragraph with second to indicate that I'm going to talk about my second reason now. And I can highly recommend that because this shows the reader exactly where he is in your independent essay. Now again, we have to explain this reason. I'm going on. Obviously, if they have to take an exam under time conditions, they must present a lot of information in a short period of time. Thus, students learn how to adapt to time constraints. In other words, they acquire the skill to convey their ideas to others in a very concise way. Clearly, this skill can prove very useful in the future careers. As you can see, I again used a lot of different linking words. I started the paragraph with second. I used obviously, and perhaps you noticed that in the former paragraph where I talked about my first reason, I used evidently. So evidently means the same as obviously. But I didn't want to use evidently here again because I want to show ETS that I know a lot of vocabulary, and that's why I used obviously here. Make sure that you use a lot of different linking words. The independent essay is the place, guys, to show off your vocabulary. Then I used thus, in other words, clearly. These are all nice linking words that you can use to boost your TOEFL writing score. Let's go on with the second example. I'm going to write, "This is best demonstrated by my personal experience." Now, this sentence indicates to the reader that I'm going to talk about my example now. I once took a course where I had to write a very difficult exam in just 1 hour. In fact, I had a lot of knowledge about this topic, but I simply did not have the time to write about everything I knew. Hence, I had to summarize information while making sure that I did not forget to include relevant points. After I had written the exam, I found it much easier to write in a concise way. And I'm pretty sure, guys, that you know what's coming next. Right, here comes the second if clause. I'm sure that if I had not taken this exam, I would not have learned how to write effectively. As you can see, I really like to use these if clauses at the end of my example. Of course, you can use if clauses in your essay wherever you like. You can use them when talking about your reason, or you can use them in your example. Put them wherever you like and wherever you find them useful. Now let's write the conclusion for our independent essay. In your conclusion, you must do two things. First, you restate your thesis, and second, you restate your reasons. And it's very important that you rephrase everything. Do not use the exact same words that you already used in your introduction and in your body paragraphs. I'm going to write, in conclusion, I'm of the opinion that exams are the best way to test students. As you can see, I start this paragraph with in conclusion. This is a great linking word because it's really easy to remember and it shows the reader that you are going to talk about your conclusion now. And then I went on and I said, I'm of the opinion that. I'm of the opinion that is just a different way to say in my opinion or I think. And then you have to go on and you have to state your two reasons that support your opinion. I'm going to write, this is because exams help students memorize the topic for a longer time and because they give them the opportunity to learn how to write effectively. That's it. This is our independent essay. Let's quickly summarize what you have to do to get a high score in the independent task in TOEFL writing. First, make sure that you have a clear structure. Write an introduction, write at least 2 body paragraphs, and then write a conclusion. Also make sure that you use a lot of different linking words. This improves your TOEFL score considerably because it shows ETS that you know a lot of vocabulary and it gives your essay structure. And third, use if clauses, guys. If clauses show that you can handle more complex English grammar, and that's why they will improve your TOEFL writing score considerably. That's it. This is how you write an essay for a multiple choice question in the independent task in TOEFL writing. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you have any questions or a video wish, tell me about that in the comments below, and if you want to get more tips for the TOEFL and download templates, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss the next video. I'd love to see you here next time. Bye bye!